For our distributive property, we're going to be using the distributive property to rewrite the expression. So, right, we're going to multiply. We have to go to everything inside there. So looking here, we do have a group, but we cannot add B's and C's together. They're not the same term, so we can't put them together. So we do not have exponents. We're going to multiply. So here we have 3 times 2 is 6, and then A times B is just A, B, because we don't know what A and B, it's just A times B, whatever they are. And then we're going to add 3 times 5 is 15, and A times C is A, C. So here we have AB, and here we have AC. They're not the same, so that is as far as we can go. 6 ABs plus 15 ACs. Our next one, we have this magic mystery 1 here. This is 1. So we have R's and Y's that we can't put together. We don't have exponents, so we're going to multiply. So 1 times 6 is 6. N times R, N, R, plus, now this is 1Y. So we're going to do 1 times 1. You're going to put your answer here. And then N times Y is just NY. So 1 times 1, bring down your N, bring down your Y to finish that problem there. Our next one here, we have 7. This is 1. So 1 plus, we have 1x plus 4y. We can't put those together. They're not the same. We don't have any exponents, so we're going to do 7 times 1 is 7. And then x times x. Now we can write x, but when we do repeated multiplication, the better way to write that is 7x squared. So that's the best way to write that. So xx is correct, but the better way is x squared. It shortens it up a little bit and shows that's repeating. And we're going to add 7 times 4. So 7, 14, 21, 28. And then x times y is x, y. And we can't put those together because they're not the same. Then our last one here, we have 4y's minus 7, so they're not the same. We don't have exponents, so we're going to multiply. So we're going to do 3 times 4. I'm going to put that there. And then we have y times y, so y, but the better way is going to be y squared. So make sure you get 3 times 4 here. And then we are minusing 3 times 7 with a y at the end. So make sure you get those multiplication facts there. So 3 times 4 goes here, and then 3 times 7 goes here. Now we're going to use our GCF and we're going to rewrite and pull out what we would have distributed in. So our first one here, we're going to list factors of 3, or 1 and 3. And 9 can divide by 3, so 3 is our factor that we're pulling out. But I notice these also have an x in common, right? That's something else they have in common, greatest common factor. So we're actually going to pull out the x. So we have 3x. And now we are going to put our parentheses here. So we need to divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And because I pulled this x down here, we do not have that anymore. That's gone. It's down here because we pulled it out in common, 3x. So we're left with 3 plus 1. And when I check my work, 3 times 3 is 9x plus 3 times 1 is 3x. So when we pull that variable out, we can no longer use it. So our next one, we have 16y's minus y's. Now we could write 16y's minus 6. We could write that as 10y's, but that's not what it asked us to do. It asked us to use the distributive property. So we're going to list factors of 6, 1 and 6, 2 and 3. 16 can't divide by 6 or 3, but it can divide by 2. And they both have a y that we're going to pull out. So because we pulled down that y, these ones are gone. We can't use those anymore. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. We're going to minus 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we're left with 8 minus 3. So when we check here, we have 2 times 8 is 16 y's minus 2 y's times 3 is 6 y's. So when we have that variable in common, those have to get pulled out too. That's part of the greatest common factor. Hey, our next one, we have 4 and 8. So factors of 4, 1 and 4, 2 and 2. And 8 can divide by 4. And I can see that these both have an x. So we're going to pull out 4x. Now we've got to stop and think about this one. X squared is really x. When we write it out in expanded form, we have x. So we're going to divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then I used one of these, so I'm going to scribble out one of them. I still have one because we had 2. And we used 1, so we still have 1. Then over here, divide by 4 is 2. And we used that x. So we're left with 1x plus 2. So now let's go back and see when we distribute if that gave us the correct answer of 4x squared plus 8x. So 4 times 1 is 4. X times x is x squared. Plus 4 times 2 is 8 with an x. So there we go. So when we have that double x, we can only pull out one of them. So I list it out and get rid of one of them that I used. Okay, our next one, our last one here, we have 5x squared y plus x. So we're going to list factors of 5, 1 and 5, and 10 can divide by 5. So 5 is our GCF. And I'm going to list out all of the variables here. So x, y, and this one just has x. The only one they have in common is this x here. So 5 x's. So I'm going to get rid of these ones that I pulled out. So we can see I'm left with x, y on the first one. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I can put the 1 or I can just put x, y plus 10 divided by 5 is 2. That's all we have left. So when I check this, 5 times 1 is 5. X times x is x squared with the y plus 5 times 2 is 10 with an x. So we have to pull everything they have in common and get rid of them and see what's left.